I don't know what's happening, but you seem like you're having a lot of fun with that heater.
I am. It's great.
But I did get some comments today on some videos, and we're in the middle of tea. It's tea time today. Tea time is 1:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. And one of the comments that I got, I think it's really important to share this information that we found out yesterday. We actually found this out like weeks ago, but we confirmed it yesterday as we went to the DMV and were sadly disappointed by the end result. But regardless.
Irregardless.
The comment says, I had to park my car and take the insurance off of it in order to pay the rent increase. And this was in response to me questioning and asking about people seeing increases in their daily, everyday necessities, cost of living. Mm-hmm. And so one of the comments comes back, and actually there's a lot of comments that came back, people were talking about it. But one of them says that I had to park my car and take the insurance off of it in order to pay the rent increase. And next increase, I have no options. And I have roommate splitting bills with me, still can't do it. Now, as I'm reading this comment, I got some questions because I guess you just don't need a car. Maybe depending on where you live, you don't need a car.
Possibly.
To be able to take the insurance off.
Oh, did it fall
for
out?
This increase, because when do you recoup that? When do you recoup that to put the insurance back on? Because the increase in your rent is going to be every month.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's charging you up front, which is different. So like if you have a home, you have a mortgage, and there's an increase in your overall mortgage payment. Now, the principal balance owed on the home shouldn't change. The interest rate shouldn't change unless maybe you did go through with the mortgage forbearance, mm-hmm. and then the loan modification, mm-hmm. and that could potentially change it. But the only reason why your mortgage payment should change is if your homeowner's insurance goes up, which if you live in California, you live in Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Virginia, probably anything up the East Coast, any state that's prone to wildfire, tornadoes, earthquakes, direct energy weapons, those would see increases in their insurance. But even if you don't, you could probably see an increase to your insurance because they're going to try and compensate they're going to try to offset and compensate their losses overall and raise insurance premiums everywhere. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you see an increase in your insurance, or when you see an increase in your insurance, which fortunately, I think Sarah said hers only went up like $100. Maybe it's her homeowner's insurance, or maybe it's her car insurance. I can't remember exactly which one. But if you see an increase in your property taxes, those two. So you have your mortgage, which includes your principal, your interest, and then your property taxes and your insurance if it's built into the escrow. So that could change it. But that wouldn't require an upfront change. That would just be a monthly change.
Yeah.
But really, the big deal is the fact that in the state of Florida, and you might want to check this in your state, because it doesn't seem like a suspended license is a big deal until it is. So it's not a big deal because where they won't tell you have a suspended license when you get your license suspended. Now, granted, there's probably some things that you could do to get your license suspended, and then it would kind of be clear. Mm-hmm. But even I don't know what constitutes a license suspension? Like,
Unpaid parking tickets, if you have a certain amount, I believe they will suspend your license. If you miss a court appearance for maybe a traffic violation or a DUI kind of thing, I think they suspend your license.
according to the
If
state
you
of
miss-
Florida.
Oh, I was about to say, if you miss child support payments, they will suspend your license, which makes no sense to me because then it's harder for you to get to work to make the money to make your child support payments. But you do you, boo.
Yeah, so tickets and fines, child support delinquencies, financial responsibilities, which this one is the big one. This one's the big one. Financial responsibilities. Financial responsibility suspensions are insurance related. Suspensions could result from selling a vehicle and not transferring the license plate.
Which we didn't know until a friend of ours had his license suspended, and he had no clue until they went to
He didn't know
something.
He came from Chicago.
Yep, and Florida's the same way. Illinois,
Georgia,
Illinois and Georgia are the same way.
I've never transferred a license ever.
We have so many of our old tags that it's crazy, but here you have to turn the tag in or transfer it with the car, or else they will suspend your license. And it's like,
Which,
I guess it saves on material and cost and stuff.
Oh, but you know what? I haven't even put the video out yet. I haven't even put the video out yet of what happened at the DMV yesterday.
Oh.
I finished it. I just haven't released it yet. So you guys don't even know how bad that situation is.
Yeah.
But
Fun times.
regardless, canceling your insurance policy without surrendering your license plate. Now, here's the deal. It also says buying a new or replacement vehicle and not contacting your insurance agent to add the vehicle to your existing policy prior to registering the vehicle. But maybe depending on what state you live in. So like Florida, it's like, based on the comment that was left, you took the insurance off your car so that you could afford to pay for something else, which really you couldn't afford it. You just shifted the money. You were robbing Peter to pay Paul. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that could suspend your license.
That's what I was going to say, because if you have a vehicle that's registered with the state, but you do not have insurance on it, they don't care if you're driving it or not. They don't care why you don't have insurance. The fact of the matter is, if you have a registered vehicle, it must have insurance. So my thought process is, instead of canceling your insurance, is there some way to drop it down to the lowest minimum thing humanly possible that you can have in order to be driver's license compliant and still be able to afford your rent? Because that's what I would do. I would look into, I'm sorry, I'm jumping into your stuff here, but that's what I would do. I would look into a way to still have my insurance so that I can still...
As long as you don't talk over me.
So you can still be law-abiding citizen, if you will, or compliant or whatever, and still be able to use your vehicle, because heaven forbid you take the insurance off and then you have to use your vehicle for some reason, and then something happens while you're in your vehicle. That's going to hurt even worse than anything.
Depending on the insurance you had, if you have full coverage and for some reason wherever it's parked it gets hit, a tree falls on it, there's some crazy event that just totals the car, you're not going to be covered. You're not going to get anything for it. And then also, if you owe on the car and you're making payments to a lender on your car payment loan, auto loan, then they're going to contact you and say, you need to put insurance on this vehicle immediately, or else one of two things will happen. One, they'll put insurance on it for you, and it's not going to be cheap.
No.
Or two, they require you with due on sale clause, basically, and whatever you owe on the car, you have to pay them immediately so that you now own the car 100% outright and they have no liability risk.
Now, can they repossess your car for non-insurance payments, even if you are making your car payments?
Yes. So if option number two, well, let's just think about it. Option number one is they put insurance on your car for you and you can't afford to pay it. Well, that's going to put you delinquent. And then eventually, if you're delinquent, then they're going to repo the car.
That makes sense.
Option number two is the due on sale, and you owe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on the car, and you can't pay it, which obviously you can't pay it because you couldn't pay your rent. So then it's like, well, if you don't pay the due on sale, we're going to come take the car. So in both scenarios, they could come and take the car.
Here's another one. If you have a $50,000 car and you can't make your car payment, sell your $50,000 car and get a cheaper car.
If you have a $50,000 car and you can't make your car payment, welcome to the new norm.
Yeah, I was about to say
because
the
the
new
average
norm.
price of a car today is like $50,000.
That is true. I mean, Honda Civic back in the day used to be your entryway into vehicles. Same thing with an Acura Integra. Those were the cheaper options to get in, and now even those are still expensive. And then Kia and Hyundai came out, and they were supposed to be the Hyundai. Those were supposed to be the cheaper ones, and now those are freaking expensive.
So one, somebody left a comment on my video on my part 2 update to Fire No Notice, and they were like, Kevin, you're an idiot, and I hate you. And
basically how they started.
I haven't watched the video, but I know everything about it based on the title and thumbnail. And you should sell your car. You should sell your Porsche. You shouldn't have a Porsche. You should sell it. You shouldn't have a BMW, which I don't.
Yeah.
And all these other things. And you should go buy a Toyota. I have a Toyota, and they're great.
That was the comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, and no, and no. But Toyotas aren't cheap either, okay? Toyotas are expensive. And Toyota is pushing to create all hybrids also. But not to mention that, as we were talking about Hyundai or whatever, I don't care. And these stupid EVs, the Ioniq 5. It's an EV. You might have seen Jason Bateman riding around on a commercial.
I love Jason Bateman, especially as the Claw in Thunder Force.
And it's like a mid $40,000-$50,000 car. Could get up to 60 if you get the limited edition Disney version. You can like Disney all you want.
Why is there a Disney version of a car? Do the taillights look like Mickey Mouse butts or something?
Whatever it is.
Is the windshield wiper a tail? Like, how does this work?
It's the most magical car on earth. So, but essentially the car is 50,000 roughly. But much like the problems that people are experiencing in Chicago right now with the freezing cold temperatures, these battery-powered EVs are absolute junk.
Junk.
But even worse is the Ioniq 5 costs more to replace the battery than it does to buy the car. So that would definitely be a car that I would make sure I had insurance on if there's ever any issue, because the reason why most of the batteries are being replaced isn't because of a bad battery or an electrical gremlin or anything like that. It's because they're hitting things as they're driving down these terrible roads, and the batteries are on the underside of the car and they're getting damaged.
Where your taxpayer dollars are supposed to fix the roadways, but instead they're gone to use for, I don't know, illegal immigrant housing and things like that.
Sanctuary cities. So be excited about that.
I can tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler. Now all the girls go follow. All the fake